Hello everyone, this is Persephone and today we're here to discuss about oppression from neurotypicals. And if you ask who is oppressing what and what happened and what caused this rambling, I'm going to tell you that I've talked about racial oppression, gender oppression, but we've never talked about how neurotypical people even now feel entitled to harass and lecture and try to quote unquote fix autistic people, and specifically me, because I'm a person who is diagnosed with Aspergers syndrome. I don't know if you know that. I was diagnosed at 1 year old, which was at the time very groundbreaking because it was like an extreme case. And especially when people didn't think that females can actually be autistic or that autistic. So I'm going to talk to you today and hopefully help some people who are harassing out of ignorance stop that, because the people who are harassing just to be abusive are going to be blocked anyway. So if I had $1 every time some neurotypical person left an abusive comment in my channel, you would never see me again because I would be a millionaire. I would leave the internet and go to Japan to invest on like sex robots and sex androids, because in the future when the majority of men will be incel, this is how you're going to get a lot of money fast if you have stocks in those technologies. But that's not our topic. The problem with the neurotypical mentality is that people seem to have this notion, this fixed idea that you have to behave in a specific way. So every time I get this comment, oh, just put a smile on your face, why don't you smile? Why do you have flat effect? Why do you have a monotonous voice? Why do you have the same topic 500 times in your videos? Because I'm autistic, that's what we do. The real question is, if you don't like it, let's say you don't like my channel, you don't like me, you think I'm a guy, all of the extreme transphobia that I get on my channel. If I was a guy and I was trans, I would embrace it, but that's the transphobia is a topic for a different video. If I wanted to be something else, and for whatever reason I'm not, either I failed or whatever, and you don't like me, why don't you just go away and find someone that you actually like? Why do you feel entitled to actually tell me to be more neurotypical or to behave more neurotypical? I have spoken about that in the past, but I think it's a topic that we need to continue discussing until it's resolved. Because imagine me going to a channel of, let's say, a neurotypical girl who is into makeup and fashion and ESFJ stuff like family, what her sister does, and so on. Imagine me going to that channel and saying, wow, you don't care about technology? You don't care about computers? Wow, you should really start caring about that. And what's up with all of that makeup? You look like a clown. Do you really need all that? And oh, your clothes, I'm sorry, they give me sensory overload. Do you need all of those patterns? Yikes. Excuse me, be more like me, I'm autistic, I'm the future. I can guarantee to you that I would get all the hate in the world and people would insult me and they would bully me and they would say, how dare you, why don't you let the poor woman be herself? And you know something, they would be right, because you don't like it, you shouldn't watch it, is true. Yet, there is one exception, us autistic people, that every time I'm myself, I'm automatically wrong. And the message is, be anything else but who you are. I'm saying this to you because I grew up and I endured horrendous abuse. There are people who tell me that they watch my videos describing my childhood and they cry, and it makes me very sad because it's the tip of the iceberg. I've never shared parts that they are truly abusive, because some of them I have blocked them, some of them are not YouTube appropriate, and some of them are going to actually traumatize you just by hearing about them. And a lot of that abuse was done in the name of normalizing me, in the name of you have to become neurotypical. And to speak with examples, my father, who is also autistic because it was passed down from him, which is very ironic, is the type of person that he thought that if I go to therapy, and by therapy I mean as a kid I've tried all kinds of therapy, and he thought that if I go to therapy and if I learn how to socialize and if I learn social skills and to have filters installed in my software because I wasn't born with neurotypical software, and get the upgrades, that I'm going to like it. For example, I remember when I was a kid that, okay, I was a terrible kid. That is one reason that when people say, oh, I would love a high IQ kid, even if it was autistic, you don't know what you're talking about. My mother would say something or she would do something and I would go and say to her, it's because you're stupid and you don't get that. And then she would slap me and then she would say, dare to say that again. And I would say, it's because you're stupid, and she would slap me again. For example, me and my father would solve Sudoku and she would never be able to solve them. And when she would say, what is it that you like? Only nerds and freaks like Sudoku. I would say to her, it's because you're stupid and you can't solve them. That's one incident out of thousands. So he would think that if I go to a shrink enough times and I participate in group therapy enough times and I learn that you cannot call other people stupid, which I learned, I'm going to all of a sudden be interested in the same things that my mother is interested, for example, soap operas, for example, gossip, for example, going to social events because she's an extrovert, and we're going to develop a relationship. And that never happened. My mother is a narcissist. I don't think she's capable of having a meaningful relationship with anyone, but to be honest, between you and me, even if she wasn't a narcissist, I would still not like that stuff. For me, having to do chit chat, having to go to events with your family and obsess over them, it's as meaningful as meeting someone that says to you, when it's night, I go to like abandoned construction sites and I steal bricks and I eat them. Do you want to go eat together? Like, if that's your thing, sure, go do it, but I'm not going to eat bricks. Like, that's pointless, that's stupid, waste of my time, potentially dangerous, so no. I understand from an evolutionary standpoint that in the past, when people in societies, like in the past, not in the 1000 years ago past, like even 50 years ago, that you needed a community to survive, and people who ended up being the crazy person at the outskirts of the village or the crazy cat lady or whatever had less chances of survival. But even now with the pandemic, that has proven over and over that in our current dystopia is a disadvantage to be an extrovert and to be dependent on other people to recharge. Even now, I still get on a daily basis those comments of be someone else, be like me, be neurotypical, get a fake smile on your face, behave in a specific way, and stuff that it always goes one way. Because I'm going to twist the knife on this video, I'm sorry, patience was never among my many gifts. If I tell to those people to be more like me, they don't have the IQ to do that. Like, that is going to sound elitist, but most of the very high IQ people that I have met, and by very high I mean above 130 at least, all of them had some kind of autistic traits, because autism is a spectrum. You don't have to be the Rain Man to be smart. And none of those people went around insulting neurotypicals. So I'm going to ask you, if you have been through that, or if you are doing that, what's the end goal? Because the damage is done. Like, if you are born with this brain, there are people who say, there are so many theories that autism is a result of exposure into many androgens in the brain, like in utero. When you are a kid, that creates a masculine brain, and that's why you think like a man even though you're a woman. And a bunch of, for me, semi-conspiracy field, it doesn't matter, but I can't be like you. I can't be neurotypical. I'm never going to be interested in chit-chat. I'm never going to be interested in who wore it better. I'm never going to have much facial expression. So what you're asking me is essentially to be in the closet in a way. The same way a gay man is in the closet, you're asking me to put my autism in the closet and strive to be an actress putting on a show of being neurotypical. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to do that. So whoever has a problem with my expressions, my video topics, my looks, whatever, you are very welcome to unsubscribe right now and go find somewhere else, because I'm trying to not make this an us versus them, autistic versus neurotypicals. I want my channel to be an open space, and anyone who wants to be here and learn and interact with other people to do so. And I couldn't care less if they are neurotypical or not. But if it gets down to that point, if neurotypicals make it this way, my people are the autistic people. So there have been several autistic people who thanked me for not trying to normalize myself and adopt fake facial expressions and fake interests and things like that to conform. Not just subs, all kinds, like people from all walks of life and all over the world. So those people need to see someone who is autistic and doesn't try to constantly change and still get the things they want to get. They need that. And if you don't want me to do that because it upsets you or it's uncomfortable or I'm a freak to you, well, that's your problem. Other people's feelings are not my problem. So I'm just saying that to start a conversation, because I feel that even now autistic people are still so like this stereotype that you are, oh my god, like the Joker or this and that. And it's very funny that there are several autistic people who have internalized self-hate and they project it to other people. And for example, the place that I feel the most alive online is incel forums, because most incels there are autistic. So I would go to Lookism in the past. Now I'm not really active there, but I'm going to be in the future again. I would go there, and then there would be a topic, and then there would be people attacking me and saying, you're too autistic. you're female, you're supposed to be less autistic than us. And that's like a gay person being homophobic because they don't accept themselves, you know? They don't accept themselves, so when they see someone else being gay and not giving a fuck, they have to attack them. So, right now in the pandemic, there are people being ruined and autistic people are thriving because if you're a programmer or if you're in some kind of nerd or freak and you can make money remotely, I'm not saying that all autistic people are schizoid, but definitely we need less interaction than neurotypicals and extroverts. And still we're getting shit thrown at us every day. So it's not really the end of the world if someone isn't the exact same as you. It's not the end of the world if someone looks different, acts different, has different interests. Like I said, and I'm going to keep repeating it, I'm never going to a neurotypical channel to shame a person for their celebrity obsession or whatever they have going. It's their channel, their life, their content, their face at the end of the day. So if they want to smile, or if they want to cake themselves on makeup, or if they want to wear patterns that I see them and they want to commit suicide from the sensory overload, it's my fault for being there, right? And last but not least, to not make this video a 40-minute rambling, this is a question that I have been asked several times from subs, and that is, are you friends with other femdom goddesses? Are you friends with other cam girls and so on? The answer is no. And the answer is not only I'm not friends with them, I have zero interest in becoming friends with them. If I happen to meet a person, like if I happen to come across a person who is also autistic like me or alternative or we click, I'm happy to give them a chance. Other than that, for the majority of goddesses, they are neurotypical, they are very materialistic, they are very obsessed with, in my opinion, nonsense. And most importantly, they treat other people badly. The majority of goddesses that I have seen from my experience, unless they have something to gain from you, they look down on you. And even on my channel, all the time, every day, I block goddesses who come to shamefully advertise their business without even actually asking my permission if I allow them to post their stupid business on my channel. So I'm not friends with such people. I'm going to do my own thing. I don't even have time to watch their nonsense. And I understand that this ruins the fantasy for some subs that, oh, goddesses are this wonderful community and I would love a harem of goddesses and whatever. Like I said, your problems are not my problems. I recently started reading a book that I abandoned because it was about New York and I don't support New York in any sense. About some guy who was in New York and he was calling the book The Law of the Garbage Truck, and he said that most people are like garbage trucks, that they are driving right next to you and they are so loaded with garbage, and at some point they have to unload the garbage somewhere, so they unload them on you, so you have to avoid the people who are in fact disguised garbage trucks. And it was some nonsense book and he was bragging about being New Yorker, so I just tossed it to the recycle bin. But the point remains, I'm not the type of person who goes around chit-chatting with goddesses, chit-chatting with neurotypicals, chit-chatting with guys who, yikes, want to get to know me better. That's me. If you don't like it, like I said, you're free to find someone who is more neurotypical than me or who fakes better than me. And that's up to you, okay? Thank you for watching.